So we don't live in a perfect world, but I've learned to become optimistic because I've seen things happen. And when it comes to the differences between the industry sectors and geographies, how things are done differently in various countries or regions around the world, well, I never cease to be amazed how continuously there is progress and improvement.
Customs is only allowed to use that data for security reasons, bioterrorism, or security of the country. They're not allowed to use it for trade issues. So even though you're giving them that information and they have it, you can't link it into your country of origin labeling or
structure they have throughout the world. And we're not dealing with just one or two suppliers. They're dealing with thousands of suppliers throughout the world. And how best to put that system together, not only for themselves, but for the small, medium-sized suppliers that bring product to them. It's a daunting task.
I agree with it. There's a lot of information that already isn't on that label that's critical to true traceability. The information about the transport itself. Nobody's recording on there. It came in on this truck and it was this date and time, but we expect the supply chain participants to have that information available if it's requested.
And I think everyone can agree on the key elements that you need to maintain and move through the system.
I'm going to continue to push the industry as well as government on the fact that there are other solutions out there that could be used that are more effective. But if they're not willing to make that investment, and we're talking significant investments based on their point of sale scanners that are effective now and can use a solution now, the chances of them moving to a different solution just for traceability alone, and some additional benefits, no question, is minimal. Every single time that I went to one of those meetings, I said, can you trace product? And they said, absolutely. I said, are you storing any of the information off the supplier's case? And they said, no. And I said, and you're storing all this product in one commodity slot. How do you tell which product comes from that slot? And they said, well, we can't. I said, so how do you say you have traceability? I said, well, I guess we don't. It's like, all right, bingo. Here's a reality that we have to face, okay? No matter what we do at the item level, it's great. It's going to add and help the traceability path. But you're a consumer, all right? You have an apple. For that matter, you have a steak, all right? All right, let's say that the industry goes through the effort of putting all this money and time and resource into putting this information on an individual package. If that's a single consumable item, what do you do with the package? You throw it away. What do you do with a sticker on an apple? You throw it away.
Normally I get introduced as a traceability guru, and a lot of people think, well, geez, that's pretty auspicious title. And I said, yes, but I sat in on Peter Drucker's workshops a few years ago, and he used to say the only reason that they use the word guru is it fits better in a headline than the word charlatan. So a lot of guidelines, but no real systems interoperability standards per se yet. Getting close, but not there yet. The most significant thing that OnTrace has done beyond building the premises registry, we also have informed consent agreements with major producer and processor organizations in Ontario. As I said earlier, this is all voluntary in Ontario. There is no mandate yet. I don't have a regulation that I can point to and say, thou shalt do this for us. So right now we have contractual arrangements with all of the producer organizations responsible for livestock in Ontario, plus some that are not in livestock, that are in the other commodities. There's general agreement and consensus now that you're not going to get the intergalactic database. It's just not going to happen.
And that's why we all have to get out of our own little myopic world and say, all right, well, not only do I need, as a company, I need an internal system that will work and that can ensure, food safety and regular protocols. But I can't rest there, because again, I'm still guilty by association until I can prove the rest of my supply chain is also clear.
And I guess at this point, how do you go back on it?
Then where does the ATQ fit in?
At the very beginning of our journey towards full whole supply chain traceability, and we do very much rely on the one up, one back I think we understand and recognize that as we implement any kinds of systems that provide standardization and are enablers to activities, that there are incrementally more costs associated with those. The globalization and the sourcing of our raw materials and our finished good, as well as the variation and diversity of our system, and we felt that as our market continues to change and our expectations of our consumers continue to change as they've become more knowledgeable and more demanding, and our customers as well, we need to be proactively taking risk-based approaches that anticipate potential issues and put mitigation plans in place.
So the perfect situation is that, you know, you can marry the flow of goods, physical movement of goods, together with the information and keep a track on that internally and externally.
One of those faces behind foodborne disease was my son, Alex, who died at the age of 6 after eating E. coli O157H7 contaminated ground beef. Alex was a great little kid, 6 years old, just a recent kindergarten graduate who had just a zest for life. Frankly, we have concerns about a possible rise in contaminated product making its ways onto our dinner plates as we import more and more foods. While the United States food safety inspection system is far from ideal, we import from many countries with inspection programs that are grossly inferior to our own. As a for instance, the first fatality in the PCA outbreak was a woman by the name of Shirley Almer. And Mrs. Almer had successfully beaten cancer twice. She had successfully beaten breast cancer, been declared cancer-free, and brain cancer, been declared cancer-free, only to have peanut butter kill her. Companies that want to sell food, especially, that want to sell something that should be life-sustaining and not life-threatening, that they must play by a strict set of rules, and if they are unwilling or unable, get out and do something else.
We try to achieve with this summit is actually to reach out to many of you, and as I was alluding to earlier in my opening remarks, educate and grow the marketplace together. And that also includes consumer groups. And I'm very happy that we had the opportunity to have one such group here, and we look forward to collaborating as the Traceability Institute with many more such groups as one of the stakeholders in the entire supply chain.
If it takes 2 months to figure out where this came from, that's too late. Not all data needs to be real-time, but it needs to be available. And again, that's very important when we think about the small producers and growers. What is the time requirement and what is the approach, whether it's paper or electronic? How do they get their information into the system? Companies want to, and they're going to share multi-layered information up and down the supply chain. We just need the vehicles to do that.
What we see out there can be termed easily as the inconvenient truth for food. That information, they be in a position to extend their current systems, their current processes, and handle the checkpoints, handle the requirements easily. What is important here and to note, and also interesting to note, is that third-party certification bodies like ours have no stake in the outcome. We hold no stake out there. Whatever happens, we do not endorse a standards body, we do not endorse any food manufacturer, processor, industry body, nothing. Our only marketable commodity is credibility. That's all we have.
Something to qualify for